and also you mentioned that we are 4 years ahead in leveraging the technology. On a lighter note, you mentioned that robots are already here. And back in 2005, when I was very new in the industry, I had read an article that the robots are going to take over the world in the future. And if this is how the robots are, they are very much welcome. Thank you very much, Ms. Aditi ji, for addressing the conference. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Ashok Alur ji, the Director for Center of Excellence for Farmer Producers Organizations at Government of Karnataka. He was also, we are very proud to say, he was also a founder vice chancellor of Best Innovation University. He has also served as a project coordinator at International Crops Research Institute and Semi-Arctic Tropics. He was a team member in a technical agriculture man ecology for ETC Netherlands. He has published more than 40 articles in reputed journals worldwide. I request Dr. Ashok Alurji to address the conference.
Thank you, Mr. Sajil. Good afternoon to everybody. We have heard several scholarly persons speaking on the subject prior to me, and I would like to throw a little focus on this technology adoption in education during COVID times with a focus on agricultural education. Friends, we are all aware COVID-19 has resulted in shutdown of several schools, colleges, universities across the globe, and agricultural education institutions are not an exception to this. Globally, over 1.2 billion students in over 186 countries are out of classrooms. As a result, education has changed dramatically with a distinctive rise of e-learning, whereby teaching is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms. With this sudden shift away from the classrooms in many parts of the globe, we are wondering whether the adoption of online learning will continue to persist post-pandemic and how such a shift would impact the agricultural education system. Even before COVID-19, there was already a high growth and adoption of such system in education technology, with the global edtech investments reaching about 18.66 billion US dollars in 2019, and overall market for the online education is projected to reach about 350 billion US dollars by 2025. And whether it is language applications, whether it's virtual tutoring, video conferencing tools, or online learning software, there has been a significant surge in the use of all such technologies since COVID-19. However, efforts are very, very minimal. If you look at the agricultural education sector, we have not been very much advanced with regard to e-learning systems, use of ICT technology in teaching and technology transfer. Very few universities have developed, e-learning modules in agriculture and horticulture sectors. I don't find much private sector actors who are into, promotion of e-learning in agriculture. While some believe that the unplanned and rapid move towards the online learning with no training, insufficient bandwidth, and little preparation has resulted in a poor user experience that is unconducive to sustained growth in agriculture sector. Others believe that the new hybrid model of education in agriculture will emerge with significant benefits. I believe that the integration of information technology in agricultural education will be further accelerated, and online education will eventually become an integral component of agricultural education in the days to come. For those who do have access to right technology, there is an evidence that learning online can be more effective in a number of ways. If you look at some of the research done on this aspect, some research results they show that on an average, students retain 25 to 60% more material when online compared to only 8 to 10% in the classroom. This is mostly due to the students being able to learn faster in the online system. E-learning requires 40 to 60% less time to learn than in the traditional classroom setting, because students can learn at their own pace. They go back, and they can reread it, they can have a relook at it, they can skip it for some time, or sometime this can also help in accelerating through the concepts that they, as they choose in the system. There are several challenges in e-learning system in agricultural education, because some students without reliable internet access and or technology struggle to participate in the digital learning. This is the practical thing, because we are facing day-to-day basis. This gap is seen across the countries and between income brackets within countries. Many students may not have even a computer to use. Nevertheless, effectiveness of online learning varies amongst the age groups. The general consensus on children, especially the younger ones, is that the structured environment is required because students are more easily distracted. To get the full benefit of online learning, there needs to be a concerted efforts to provide the structure and go beyond the replicating a physical classroom lecture through video capabilities. Instead, using a range of collaborative tools and engagement methods that promote inclusion, personalization, and intelligence. That's very, very important for the education in agriculture sector. Though no sector has been able to reach 100% adoption of these technologies, vast majority has adopted e-learning methods in their training programs or in their education programs. E-learning in Canadian, European, American, and Australian agriculture even falls significantly behind the current adoption rates seen in non-agricultural sectors, especially in these countries. But if you look at the Indian subcontinent, we are far behind these countries too. The major challenges identified by the researchers inhibiting the expansion of e-learning in agriculture are mainly due to the fact that the agricultural learning is more practical oriented. We always talk about, on the job learning or hands-on skill learning, and thus, hands-on learning is essential in most of the subjects. Wherever practicals are essential, we need to have, and hands-on learning. And most of the subjects in agriculture sector, they emphasize on practical learning methods. If you look at the systems, for example, the gaps between the trainers and the designers. Many times our faculty, we look at faculty as our trainers in this system, and some of the designers who help the faculty to design these modules, there's a major problem lie in the educators' inability to bridge the technical divide. Not only, must they identify the knowledge and skill needed by the students, but they must also figure out how to present the material in an appropriate user-friendly design so that e-learners can translate that information into applicable solutions. The faculty, in most of the cases, they lack the instructional design competencies to develop courses and programs using e-learning applications because they have not been trained in this sector, in this way. Teachers and trainers, in most of the cases, are forced to learn on the job how to present their material using e-learning. They need ongoing support as well as training, and also the administrative support, and maybe certain incentives with a few of these, currently available to the agriculture sector is very, very average or marginal. And if you look at the faculty in agriculture sector, they have faced with several challenges. For example, lack of time and skills needed to adopting to the new technologies, lack of both formalized reward system and the technical support required to do this, and also a concern about the loss of teacher-student relationship in the e-learning system. And also, if you look at the other things, maximizing the returns on their investment in time and money, and major increases in the administrative workload. These are few challenges or difficulties that the faculty in agriculture sector are facing. The agricultural institutions should understand that e-learning is a major investment in their ability to maximize online teaching efficiency and effectiveness in the days to come. As most of the speakers talk about, this is going to be an inevitable component in our regular teaching system. We also need to throw more light and focus onto similar things. Research has also very clearly shown that the electronic communication or information, and even the image technologies, they offer a lot of, you know, interesting delivery methods, much more convenient than the
1 minute to go,
traditional
sir.
method. Yeah. Once they surpass the initial load of administrative skills and all that. And if you look at the, ease with which the people are working, converting previously written or prepared educational documents and lectures into online teaching is not terribly difficult. But people, the faculty look at it as a very difficult task. So it is very, very important that a special attention must be paid towards developing links, review questions, connections to data sources and images. This is one of the important aspects. To conclude, the first step of e-learning in agriculture are being taken in most of the countries, and we need to pay more attention. In Indian subcontinent, we have not paid enough attention, or we have not diverted resources and time for making agricultural online more effective through the e-learning systems. While much of the available funding and interest has been geared towards special programs in agribusiness and agriculture management, large number of organizations can join their hands and develop very effective e-learning agricultural tools. So the challenge is to fully exploit the electronic media, maximizing its usefulness to the realm of possible resources. E-learning must not be just simple PowerPoint presentations. They need to be modified into online modules, but rather well-designed training that draws towards the best electronic resources that are available. So the faculty, the administration, and the institutions have to come together, bridge the gaps that is existing in the, making e-learning more effective and impact oriented. Thank you very much, and look forward to hear other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ashok Alurji. Pleasure hearing you, sir. So you mentioned, you started by a very important point, that the technology in education has been prevalent for a very long period of time. And you rightly highlighted that the $18 billion equity investment in the edtech space in 2019 is a perfect example of that. It's just that we just got accelerated now due to COVID in leveraging or utilizing the technology.